Good morning, Canadian Yarn Hoard. My name's Alyssa, and today's just a quick project. We're going to do this fingerless glove. I'm going to move you over to the overhead cam. As you can see, Maya's there. I don't know if you can see Salem. He's on my pillow back there. Oh, and here's Willow. Come here. Want to come say hi? Oh, here's my big old Willow. There's my sweetheart. He hasn't been in a couple of videos, so it's nice to see him. So I'm going to move you over to the overhead cam and we're going to get started. So this one is a stitch I know is called the honeycomb stitch. But in this particular book, this Knit Stitch Dictionary, it's actually called the Beehive Waffle. So that's the one we're going to be doing. So I'm just going to put that down there. The yarn I'm using is, this is a Lion Brands Touch of Luxe, Touch of Alpaca. And what that means is it's 90% acrylic and 10% alpaca. It is a medium. They do recommend a 4.5 millimeter needle and a 5.5 millimeter hook. So I'm going to get started. Now, linen is actually a really good durable material. And so what they recommend for linen is to use a very good durable, that's what it's for. And you're going to want all 3 needles. So you have 3 3/4, 4, and 3. So that's what we're going to do. I am going to grab my 3.5. Now I am going to leave a bit of a tail because I know for a fact I can sew this one up all the way. So I'm going to grab that and tie it up. Now, I do love this color. I don't know if I have the name, so it's called Purple Aster. I did get it at Lens Mills for $7.99. So there is that. I am going to cast on the 3 3/4, 38 stitches now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I'm going to keep going until I have 38, and I will start with showing you how to do the ribbing. So I have the 38 stitches, and now what you're going to do is you're going to start with knit 1, purl 1, ribbing. So knit 1, purl 1, knit 1, purl 1. Now this is actually a 4-row repeat, this pattern, this entire, the waffle stitch pattern. I think they call it the Beehive Waffle. As I said, I know it as the honeycomb. I'm pretty sure I learned it as the honeycomb, or a version of the honeycomb. So this is just ribbing. You're just going to do this for, I'm going to do a quick measurement. So you're going to do it for 2 inches. So I will be back after I have 2 inches of ribbing, and I will show you how to start the pattern. So now I have my 2 inches. As you can see, I've got it there. We're going to start the first row of pattern after we change needles. So here's my 4 millimeter. Got it? So now you're going to knit this straight row. So this is a straight row. All uneven, odd rows will be knit for this pattern. So it's the 2nd and 4th row that are the important parts of the pattern, and they're all knit stitches. So you're just going to knit this row. I will be back in a second when I'm finished this row to show you the next row. So this row, we're going to knit 1, and then you're going to knit in the stitch below. If you see there's a loop there, you go underneath it, above it, underneath it, above it. And you're just going to do that for the whole row. So you're just going under the bar, over the bar, under the bar, over the bar. And you do that for this whole row. And then you're going to purl or knit, and then I will show you the 4th row. So you're just going to knit under the bar, knit under the bar. And as I said, the next row is all knit, and I will come back for this next row. So now what you want to do is you want to knit one, and then go under. So that is your pattern. You're going to repeat that now for 5.5 inches. So I will be back to show you how to finish it off when I get 5.5 inches. Actually, before I did that, I did want to say, if you're a new viewer, thank you very much. What I like to do here is I do a daily update, Monday, Wednesday, Fridays. That gives you a chance to see what I'm doing in the background outside of these quick projects that I do believe you can do. Some of the projects I film, some of them I'm doing for future filming, and some of them I'm just doing for myself. So that's Tuesday, Thursdays, and Sundays. I do project videos. Those are the ones that you're watching right now. I would love to earn your like and subscription. I would love to hear from you and any questions, comments, or concerns you have below. I love hearing from all my viewers. This is just a quick one, as I showed. I will be back to once I have 5.5 inches, and I will show you how we finish it off. And at the end of this row, so I'm just getting to the end, you knit 2 at the end as well. So 1, 2. And I did have to, on the first row that I did, I had to decrease 2. It was decrease 1. So I like to have an even number of ribbing, but this pattern needs an odd number. So I did decrease 1 at the end of the first row. And at the end of this row, you wanted to knit 2 for the last 2 stitches. So I'm just going to continue on, like I said, for 5.5 inches, and then I will show you the top ribbing and how to sew it up. I actually just realized I think I've been calling this a touch of linen. It's a touch of alpaca. So I do have a touch of linen as well, but this is a touch of alpaca. So it is a really nice yarn, to be honest. But I did just realize I'd made that mistake, so I wanted to correct it. So now that I've got it full, I'm going to change needle sizes to the 3. I'm going to decrease 1. And I'm going to knit 1, purl 1 ribbing for 1 inch. So just like you did at the base. Pardon me. But this one, you're going to use a smaller knitting needle with it. And that's all you do, and I will show you how to stitch it up when I'm done. Cool. So this one, we're going to do the cast off row. So what you do is knit 1, purl 1, and cast off. And knit 1, and cast off. And you're going to continue that all the way down. Just continually casting off. Over. And over. And I will be back in a minute to show you how I stitched it up. So I've got that all done now. So now I'm just going to cut not too far in, because you don't need a lot of tail on this part. So what you're going to do is you're going to grab thread, and you're going to grab these loops, and tighten it up. And then you're just going to go back and forth, tightening up the ribbing part. You don't want to pass the ribbing. Right about there. So then go back up to double your work, so that way you know your stitches and your seam is really well done. And then you can just run it down, straightening it, pulling it just a little bit straight. That way you don't have any pull in it. Now you're going to go from the bottom end and you're going to untangle your tail that you put a little bit of a tie in, and you're going to sew these up. And you don't want to go all the way. You do want to leave about an inch. A lot of times what I like to do, and that's why I wanted to show you on this one, is I will stitch up the seams like I'm doing here, and then I will eyeball it and I will put it on my hand to make sure it fits. And if you noticed, I have it inside out. That's because you want this seam on the inside. It is a small detail, but it can make a big, big difference towards the final look of the product. You want it to look really nice, and having your seam on the inside can do that. So I'm just going to continue coming upwards. Now I'm going to make a basic lock stitch there. You want to make sure what I did was I came across, grabbed the two, and then looped the loop around it, almost making I think they call it a whip stitch. I'm not 100% sure on stitch names, but it's one of my favorite to lock it in. You know it's not going anywhere, and when you do, if you do have to frog for any reason, it's a good stop place for you. So now I'm getting closer. So right about there. And now I'm going to put my hand in, making sure I have enough room for my thumb. And then I can just bring it down this way in the seam. Double up a bit. And that'll just lock it into place, and that way you don't have to worry about it coming undone. When you pull it out, pull it through, and that way you now have the right side facing. And there you have it. A Beehive waffle stitch fingerless gloves. I'm going to show you them now. So there we go. I hope to see you again. I hope you have a wonderful day, and bye.